Starting up with number 10, Harry's thoughts. Prince Harry discussed the possible reasons why he believes Prince William and Princess Kate did not like Meghan Markle. In his recent memoir Spare, Harry discussed a series of royal bombshells. Harry stated that William and Kate might not have liked Meghan for a lot of different reasons. He went on to say, "They probably never expected me to fall in love with Meghan, who had a very successful career, or to become in a relationship with her. At the outset, there was a lot of stereotyping going on, and I was also guilty of it. So you know, the fact that I had that in the back of my mind, and some of the things that my brother and sister-in-law were doing or behaving differently felt to me like, sadly, that stereotyping was causing a bit of a barrier to them. Really, you know, introducing or welcoming her in." He continued, clarifying his words, "Well, being an American actress divorced or biracial can mean different things to different people. But if you're living the same life and reading the British tabloids at the same time like a lot of my family is, there's a chance you'll end up living in the tabloid bubble rather than the real one." Before making the remarks, Harry made fun of the fact that the Prince of Wales and Kate were fans of the sitcom Suits, in which Markle starred before she met her husband. In Harry's memoir published in January 2023, he brings up a moment between Meghan and Kate. He claims that Meghan requested to borrow some lip gloss, which seemed to put Kate off. He penned, "Kate, surprised, went into her handbag and reluctantly pulled out a small tube. Meg applied some to her lips after squeezing some onto her finger. Kate frowned." Yikes. I guess we know for next time not to share Kate's lip gloss. Number 9, disagreements. Even though there have been instances of minor disagreements between the two, it is safe to say that the media is known to exaggerate the situation. The rumors seem to keep coming, maybe because people don't know how two powerful women can see each other as friends rather than foes, or maybe because they want to show that the royal family is just as chaotic as any other family. When the two couples became one in 2017, the entire world was quick to recognize the new quartet as a royal force. But it wasn't long before stories started coming out that showed a very different picture. The most significant alleged disagreements that Kate and Meghan have reportedly had over the years, there's just too many to count. When Meghan was absent from the wedding of Pippa Middleton, Kate's sister, in 2017, prior to her engagement to Harry, rumors of a potential rift began to circulate. It wasn't clear at first why Meghan wouldn't have been there, but it was later reported that she decided not to go because of a headline on the front page of The Sun that read, "In the Wedding of the Rears, Meghan is competing with Pippa." Biography Finding Freedom says Meghan had carefully planned her wedding outfit to be stylish without being splashy, according to Harry and Meghan and the Making of a Modern Royal Family. However, after the headline about the women's backsides, she ultimately decided to pull out of the event. According to the book, Harry and Meghan agreed that she couldn't possibly turn up at the church. Now, they had no doubt it would, the statement reads. They worried their arrival might create a media circus despite taking every precaution. Meghan and Harry weren't happy with what they saw after Netflix released the first clip from their docuseries. This was especially true because the trailer's release coincided with their first trip to the US in 8 years. The release of the Netflix trailer left Kate and William baffled. The relationships became even more strained as a result. On to number 8, behind palace doors. Even though they frequently presented a united front with their royal spouses, whispers of a rivalry between the two women quickly emerged. In 2018, there were rumors that the TIG founder had a heated conversation with Kate over Princess Charlotte's bridesmaid dress before Harry and Meghan got married. The alleged incident was brought up by Meghan nearly 3 years later. In their first major televised interview since their transition from senior royal duties became permanent in February 2021, Meg stated, "The reverse of that happened. She was upset about flower girl dresses a few days before the wedding, which made me cry. I was really hurt by it." And even though Meghan acknowledged that the damaging narrative that was being told was hard to get over, she was able to forgive Prince William's wife. At the time, Meghan recalled she was upset about something, but she owned it and she apologized. "She expressed her regret by sending me flowers and a note. She also did what I would do if I knew I had hurt someone. She took responsibility." According to Meghan, the British tabloids really seemed seem to want a narrative of a hero and a villain. The philanthropist does not believe that Kate and her deserve to be compared to one another despite how they were depicted in the media. Counting down to number 7, holiday drama. Reports of a rift between the royal family were fueled when Harry and Meghan decided to spend Christmas with her mother Doria Ragland in December 2019. However, according to a source who spoke with us at the time, Harry's relationship with William was more to blame than the strained sisterhood between Kate and Meghan. The source informed us that one of the main reasons behind their decision is the rift between William and Harry. They want Archie's first Christmas to be one to remember. Only Doria and the three of them will be there. Stress has been immense as a result of the couple's drama. Number 6, Meghan's truth. A friend of Kate Middleton's has said that Prince William absolutely hates his brother Prince Harry's wife Meghan. The unnamed friend of the Princess of Wales revealed in an explosive interview how much Prince William despises Meghan and blames her for their disagreement. They blame Meghan for everything. The family absolutely despises her. The friend told the news source that it is a huge disaster. The insider went on to say the brothers were so close as kids, they lost their mother and their father was very distant, so they had this amazing bond. Everyone was aware of it. Then Meghan showed up. Prince Harry was warned to stay away from her by everyone, but he didn't pay attention, so she just took him away. Their bond is now tainted with betrayal. The friend continued, William really hates both of them now. It is extremely harmful and destructive for everyone. In the end, they are a family and Meghan has ruined their entire life together. The source went on to say, you can't even imagine how bad it really is. The remarks come as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's docuseries Harry and Meghan, which was released on Netflix on December 8, 2022, made headlines for its comments about the royals. Prince William claims Meghan treated his staff mercilessly. Even though Prince Harry was only in the UK for a brief period of time, Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton did not hang out with him after the funeral. They were concerned that anything they might have said would have been leaked to the media. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge refused to spend time with Prince Harry immediately following the funeral. According to royal expert Robert Lacey, they told friends that they could see no point in talking to Harry, since any discussion of substance would go straight back to Meghan to be leaked out via Oprah Winfrey or some other tentacle of the Sussex network. That sounds really shady to me. He explained, one of Charles and William's biggest fears is that whatever conversations they have with Harry will be immediately leaked. They'll be concerned that if they go into any great detail, it will be made public before they know it, making it extremely difficult to heal the wounds over time. Number 5, silence.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
In March 2021, a source exclusively told us that the bench author and the princess hadn't spoken directly in over a year. Following their tell-all interview, the insider said that the women's tension was getting worse as their husbands continued to fight. The source explained at the time they were never that close, but the reason they aren't speaking is because of the rift between Harry and Prince William. Over the course of the past year, Harry and William have only communicated infrequently, but none of their communications have been friendly in quite some time. The brothers have genuine animosity toward one another, which has extended to Meghan and Kate's relationship, making it extremely difficult for them to be friends or even friendly. Despite the fact that the women reconciled following the drama surrounding their wedding, which Meghan discussed in the tell-all, their differences prevented them from developing a full relationship. According to the insider, Kate and Meghan didn't see eye to eye when it came to day-to-day life in the palace, but they did get along in the beginning of the relationship. Number 4, royal comparisons. An insider told us in August 2019 that Meghan feels that there is a standard set very high by Princess Kate. That the British public sees her in that light is depressing. Because she lives in the UK and is exposed to cruel British media, Meghan feels isolated. She cannot defend herself because her hands are tied, which has been extremely challenging. The LA native compared the stories that were written about her to those that were written about Kate when she talked about how the British press treated her differently before Harry and her royal exit became permanent in February 2021. Meghan recalled, if members of his family say, well, this is what happened to all of us, or if they can compare my experience to what has been shared with us, Kate was called Waity Katie, waiting to marry William. While I do believe that was extremely challenging, I am unable to imagine how it felt. This is different. Racist and rude are not the same thing. In a similar vein, you have a press team that goes on record to defend you, particularly when they are aware that some things are false. We did not experience that. Number 3, out of town. Even though Meghan and Harry reportedly contacted Kate in January 2022 to celebrate her 40th birthday, relations between the in-laws continued to be frosty by April of that same year. In order to surprise the Queen, the former actress and her husband paid a surprise visit to Windsor Castle in April 2022. However, William and Kate were not present. After his brother's trip, a source exclusively informed us that William just happened to be skiing when Harry and Meg were at Windsor Castle. As the source put it, it was just a coincidence. Harry hopes to meet William in person when he returns to visit in the future. They are attempting to determine the situation. Since their brief visit to London in 2020, Harry and Meghan have not been together in the UK. Charles, the boy's father, was said to have made an appearance at the family get-together despite the fact that Kate and William were not in attendance. Number 2, Platinum Jubilee. While Meghan and Harry were in town in June 2022 to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, the in-laws appeared to avoid one another once more. Christopher Anderson, a royal expert, claims that while in the UK, the Californians attempted to reconcile with the family but were unsuccessful. He exclusively told us at the time they went there hoping to mend fences and ran into a brick wall. He added that he was personally surprised that the pair was excluded from the balcony during Trooping the Color. I assumed that Harry would have an opportunity to attend to demonstrate the monarchy's future and solidarity. They probably expected a warmer reception than they received. The wives and brothers, in addition, according to the author of Inside the Private Lives of William, Kate, Harry, and Meghan, William and Kate made no effort at all to introduce Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince William to Lily during the visit. He mentioned that the couples are still experiencing a lot of tension. Anderson continued, "As far as I know, nobody believes they spoke to one another during the celebrations." Damn, they really keeping it frosty in that palace. Number 1, keeping their distance. The women stood near Queen Consort Camilla at the Queen's London funeral in September 2022, but the Duchess of Sussex appeared to physically distance herself from them. Body language expert Blanca Cobb exclusively told us at the time, Meghan's body language doesn't hint at her relationship with the Queen Consort, Kate, and the children. However, Kate's apparent emotional distance is communicated by standing back and behind the Queen Consort, the children, and the monarch. She went on to say maybe she wanted to give them space or she needed some time to think and reflect. It's possible that she stood back because she believes their relationship is strained. When you don't feel emotionally connected to someone, you tend to keep your distance physically. Starting off with number 10, Stephen Hawking is one of Britain's greatest ever scientists, but despite being given many honors, he declined a knighthood. And that doesn't mean the scientist hates the royals. In fact, he developed a relaxed relationship with the Queen. So why did Stephen Hawking turn down a knighthood? He said in 2008 that he had been offered the honor but declined it, reportedly because he wasn't happy about the level of funding the government was channeling to sciences. He was, however, made a CBE in 1982 and a Companion of Honor in 1989. The man who brought a new perspective on life, the universe, and everything to generations through his accessible discussions of science, including his famous book, A Brief History of Time, is being remembered for many reasons. We can no doubt expect more royal tributes to the work and achievements of Stephen Hawking in the days and weeks to come. On to number 9, Daniel Radcliffe, aka Harry Potter. When people who aren't from the UK are asked what they know about the country, one of the first topics to come up, after the royal family of course, is Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling's series of novels became a worldwide phenomenon after Warner Bros. Began adapting them for the big screen in the early 2000s, rejuvenating the British film industry and creating a spike in UK tourism. The main star of the movie franchise, however, doesn't actually agree with how Great Britain is being run. When actor Daniel Radcliffe was asked if he was a royalist, he answered, "Not at all. I am definitely a Republican in the British sense of the word. I just don't see the use of the monarchy, though I'm a fierce patriot. I'm proud of being English, but I think the monarchy symbolizes a lot of what was wrong with the country." The actor also added that he was one of many Brits offended by Prince Harry's decision to wear a very problematic costume to a fancy costume party in 2005. "My dad is Northern Irish and my mum is Jewish," he said. Well, unlike the others on the list, it seems as if the royals really did personally offend Radcliffe. Number 8. The Gallagher brothers of Oasis are famously known for hating things, particularly each other, as they are for their 90s alternative rock classics. Perhaps the one thing Noel Gallagher hates more than Liam Gallagher: the royal family. Gallagher once called the royals clowns and called for abolishing the monarchy. Rolling Stone published a quote attributed to the British pop star: "I wouldn't wish the royal family to pass away, just seriously maimed. I'd take a couple legs off." Yikes. Noel seems to be very passionately against the monarchy, as if they personally rubbed him the wrong way. It's funny to find out how much he dislikes the royal family. But clearly, Gallagher has a passion for hating so much to the point that the rock band with the two bros fell out. Who knows, maybe they had an argument about the royals and that's what caused them to break up the band. In a way, it would justify why he hates the royals. Number 7, Colin Firth. Colin Firth won the 2011 Academy Award for Best Actor for his brilliant performance as George VI in The King's Speech, which was an ironic win given his stance as a British Republican. Firth told Meghan Markle's #1 fan Piers Morgan that he enjoyed playing King George. The actor also had some kind words to say about what King Charles was doing for the country. However, when asked if he was a monarchist, the actor had to set the record straight. "I really like voting," Firth said flatly. "It's one of my favorite things. As for unelected bodies, it's a problem for me." Firth was part of the campaign for the United Kingdom to remain a part of the European Union, calling the idea of Brexit a disaster of unexpected proportions. When Brexit became a reality, the actor applied for and received Italian citizenship, so he could have the same passport as his wife and children. Number 6, Danny Boyle. There's one Oscar-winning film director who thinks that J.K. Rowling should replace the Queen as the British head of state. That director is Danny Boyle, who made headlines in the UK when he said that the Queen should be replaced by an elected leader and suggested that Rowling would be fit for the job. "It's a ludicrous spotlight they're under," he said of the royal family under the monarchy system. "You can still have a royal family if you like, but actually have an elected head of state." The director highlighted how he believed that the monarchy should be abolished, and how if the British public still wished for a royal family, then the only fair way to go about that should be through a public election. Boyle was already known in his native country for his Best Director win for 2008's Slumdog Millionaire, but he was put under the national spotlight when he was selected to direct the opening ceremony of London's 2012 Olympic Games. His work on the event received overwhelming praise and led him to being offered a knighthood, though he shocked the adoring public by turning the honor down. "Not my cup of tea, never has been," Boyle said. "I believe in being an equal citizen rather than a preferred subject." Tell him, Boyle, egalitarianism for the win. The filmmaker believes the British monarchy will be abolished in his lifetime, but he has recognized Queen Elizabeth for her involvement in a short film Boyle directed for the Olympics. Number 5, Sex Pistols. Lots of celebrities have said nasty things about the royal family, but few have put their money where their mouths are, quite like the Sex Pistols did in 1977. That year marked Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee, a year-long celebration of her 25 years on the throne. On June 7, a rented boat called the Queen Elizabeth chugged through London down the Thames River with the Sex Pistols and many other anti-establishment writers and artists on board. Ostensibly a promotion for their extremely sarcastic second single, God Save the Queen, the stunt also served to preemptively mock the Stade Royal River procession planned just days later. The Sex Pistols took to the boat stage and launched into the gleefully vitriolic anarchy in the UK while passing by the Parliament building. As the punk rockers continued with their set, police boats cornered the Queen Elizabeth. Power was cut off and the vessel had to dock. The band's manager reportedly fought with police while the band slipped away into the night, and the remaining passengers rioted. It was, to say the least, anarchy in the UK. Number 4, Morrissey, former lead singer of the Smiths, is considered one of the greatest living Brits. In 2006, he came in at number 2 in a BBC poll, finishing behind veteran broadcaster David Attenborough, but ahead of the Beatles' bassist Paul McCartney. One list he will always top is famous anti-royalists. And since going solo, Morrissey's views on the royals have only hardened. The indie icon even said the Queen is the ultimate dictator, claiming that if the British people decided tomorrow that the Queen must go, then the Queen wouldn't hesitate to turn her tanks on the British people. It would happen. Do you think this bold statement has some truth to it? It isn't just the late Queen Elizabeth that Morrissey does not care for. In 2014, he released a letter about Prince William, who'd been spotted on a hunting trip with brother Harry just days after publicly criticizing poachers in Africa. William is too thick-wit to realize that animals such as tigers and rhino are only driven to near extinction because people who are precisely like him and his brother have shot them off the map. All in the name of sport and slaughter, the vegan musician wrote. He may have a point about people hunting animals out of existence. Counting down to number 3, Eddie Izzard was known across the UK for years as a comedian who appeared on stage and in public in extensive makeup and women's clothing. It would have seemed inconceivable at the time that he would someday play the part of Queen Victoria's eldest son Bertie, Prince of Wales. Izzard's showbiz reputation began to change when he landed a role in the Broadway show A Day in the Death of Joe Egg. And in 2017, he became a royal for Stephen Frears' Victorian Abdul. As we saw with Colin Firth, playing a royal doesn't mean you approve of the royals. The actor said that monarchy doesn't make sense in the 21st century and said that he wasn't into royalty. This Republican attitude will apparently be central to his bid to become mayor of London in 2020. Hereditary privilege is crazy to me, the aspiring politician said. Never knew Izzard and I would agree on something, but I totally understand his point. Hereditary privilege is crazy. On to number 2, The Tracey Ullman Show, which famously gave birth to The Simpsons, debuted in 1987 and made her an instant star in stateside. But it would be a whopping 30 long years before she returned to British television screens. Despite not being in country for all those years, Ullman has remained vocal about the way the UK is run. In 1998, she sat down for an interview with the New York Times when she was asked if she was Republican. "I am," she answered. "A member of parliament once suggested I be put in the Tower of London for saying derogatory things about the royals. There's no First Amendment in my country. I love your Bill of Rights." The actress also said the UK should adopt the bicycling monarchy approach taken by other European countries to save money, and that royals should be able to step down instead of being forced into royal service. Why should they have to? There are loads of people willing. One of those weird cousins, no doubt. Yikes, the shade. Ullman. Ullman has also impersonated several members of the royal family over the years, from Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth to Princess Margaret and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. On to number 1, Russell Brand. I mean, in England we have a queen, Brand said. We have to call her things like Your Majesty, like she's all majestic. She's just a person. Your Highness, what is that? She's high up above us at the top of a class pyramid on a shelf of money with her own face on it. Well, this was a nicer version of what he really said, but let me know in the comments whether you agree with Russell's aggressive take. He even criticized the Queen's German heritage. "We should be calling her Mrs. Windsor," he said. "In fact, that's not even her real name. They changed it in the war to distract us from the inconvenient fact that they were as German as the enemy. Her actual name is Mrs. Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. It's the most German thing I've ever heard." Russell is usually known for being savage, but then again, what comedian isn't? Starting off with number 10, Queen Consort Camilla was once known as the Other Woman during her affair with King Charles, which later turned into a relationship and eventual marriage. As we all know, Camilla has been hated on, mostly because fans and supporters felt she came between Charles and the late Princess Diana. So there's no shock Princess Diana was never a fan of Camilla. During Diana and Charles's honeymoon, Diana found love letters from Camilla to Charles. Yikes. I know Charles was sleeping on the couch their whole trip after that revelation. Like, Charles, if you're gonna cheat, at least try to hide the evidence better. Finding out you've been cheated on during your honeymoon is definitely a different kind of pain. On their honeymoon, Prince Charles wore the cufflinks that Camilla had gifted him, which understandably upset Diana. It was also reported that a picture of Camilla slipped out of Charles's diary at the time. These were just two of several blatant warning signs that Charles was not in love with his wife. Diana once confronted Camilla about her affair. As Charles and Camilla were casually hanging out in their palace, Diana requested to speak to Camilla privately and hit her with the "I know exactly what is going on," to which Camilla obviously tried to act oblivious and denied allegations. Gasp! What would we do without this juicy royal family drama? And also, shout out Netflix's The Crown for giving us the gift of seeing how exactly this drama may have gone down. The princess famously remarked in a 1995 interview, "There were always 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Princess Di was a savage for that, and then a year later, they officially got divorced. As much as Diana was adored by the public, she just never got the attention or love that she deserved from her husband at the time. Sad. No one deserves this kind of treatment. Charles fumbled Diana, who was admired by so many people around the world, for Camilla, and no shade, but who has openly admitted to loving the queen consort? Charles and Camilla got married in 2005, and while they're still going strong after all these years, many are still unforgiving of the mistress who people claim ruined Diana and Charles's marriage. I personally think Charles should be the one held accountable for ruining his own marriage. A lot could have been avoided, like the hurt and resentment within his own family and even from supporters of the royals. But things happen, and without their juicy drama, we would have never gotten a show as good as The Crown, which does a great job at reenacting the problematic things this family's been involved in. On to number 9, seeing the late Princess Diana's jewelry worn by Duchess Kate brings us back to the wonderful years when the people's princess and fashion icon was alive and serving looks while remaining gracious. After finding out the famous mistress to Prince Charles wore a piece of jewelry once owned by the princess, the public had new reasons to diss Camilla, and leaving us all confused on why she thought it was a good idea to make that bold decision. They may be married now, but that's still no excuse. Wearing jewelry owned by the ex-wife of your husband just feels so wrong and unhinged. People think Camilla reached a new level of disrespect by wearing what was once Princess Diana's. The emerald and diamond necklace was gifted to Princess Diana by the Queen and returned to the royal vault after Diana had tragically passed away. But recently, in 2016, Camilla was spotted wearing the piece. It was turned into a brooch, so the piece was more subtle, but it wasn't fooling anyone that Camilla was wearing what didn't belong to her. Of all the jewelry she could wear from the vaults, she decided on an extremely controversial piece. Do you think it was wrong of Camilla to wear the late princess's jewelry, or was this an attempt from the mistress to pay her respects to the late princess? Counting down to number 8, her stepchildren Princes William and Harry have set strong boundaries regarding that relationship. Prince William made it clear that the newly appointed queen consort will never fill the role of his late mother, Princess Diana. Apparently, the Prince of Wales does not want Camilla trying to get close with his children George, Charlotte, and Louis. According to William, his kids have 2 grandfathers but only 1 grandmother. It makes sense that he would want to make sure that his late mother, Princess Diana, isn't erased from the picture now that Charles is remarried. William considered her bossy, mean-spirited, and thoughtless. Yikes again, Camilla. It's like she doesn't even care to be liked by anyone other than Charles. Will was furious to find out newspapers published a photo of Camilla planning a kiss on his father's cheek in public. The young prince saw it as a slap in the face to his mother just 4 days before what would have been her 40th birthday. Is Will being dramatic, or is he right to leave Camilla out of the picture when it comes to his own family? Number 7, speaking of the princes, if you've ever wondered how Harry feels about his stepmom, apparently it's somewhat complicated. Harry doesn't have great respect for Camilla and has pretty much no interest in starting a close relationship with her. I mean, obviously we aren't surprised to know King Charles's sons are not at all happy with him ditching their mom for his mistress. Harry and William were initially very happy to welcome Camilla into the royal family because she kept in the background and didn't interfere, but then something shifted. It was revealed that part of the reason Harry and his wife Meghan fled the UK was because of racist comments Camilla allegedly made about their then unborn son, Archie. Here we go again with more racist allegations. Someone needs to find a way to educate this family, honestly. According to Harry, someone speculated about what his future child would look like. In another version, Camilla made a statement saying, "Wouldn't it be funny if your child had ginger afro hair?" Camilla, you're already hated on, and adding races to the reasons people hate you is not a good look. Harry and Meghan allegedly left the UK in part because of Camilla, not people running away to avoid her. Insiders also claimed in June that Harry was still not a fan of Camilla because he had not forgotten his late mother, Princess Diana's comments about the Queen Consort having an affair with his father. Number 6 on our list, Queen Elizabeth was not too fond of Camilla. Liz thought her relationship with Charles would be too damaging to the monarchy. When initially introduced, Camilla was not accepted because she had been married before and already had kids. If you don't know, the royals do not like to consider people with previous marriages suitable for marrying into the throne. Even though that rule is not as strictly considered nowadays, it's often talked about, and of course, the British press is more than happy to post invasive information about anyone involved with the royals. So now everyone knows one of the reasons the royals were not thrilled about Camilla. Queen Elizabeth II always detested Camilla and only agreed to give her blessing for the royal to be known as Queen Consort because of an unspoken deal behind the scenes over Prince Andrew. I wonder what that's all about. The Queen Mother particularly detested Camilla because she was throwing a wrench in the works. Because of Camilla, the monarchy was kind of brought to the brink of destruction. In 1998, when Charles was trying to persuade his mother to be more accommodating of Camilla, the Queen described her as that wicked woman. Damn, the hate is so real. When Charles shared his intentions of marrying Camilla with the Queen, who had several martinis, and to Charles' surprise replied forcefully, she would not condone his adultery nor forgive Camilla for not leaving Charles alone to allow his marriage to recover. You go, Liz. I'm totally on your side with that. Charles would not give up Camilla. So when Diana passed away, Camilla was blamed by a lot of people for the situation, which resulted in Diana's passing. And Camilla became the most hated woman in England, if not the world, for a while. Being one of the most hated is an insane title to have, but now the newly appointed Queen Consort is enjoying her life, so I'm sure she's blocking out all the haters. It seems like someone with the name Meghan Markle took her place of being the most hated. When comparing King Charles's committed relations with both Diana and Camilla, it's obvious Diana tried harder to win the hearts of the family as well as the nations. The royals were very welcoming to Diana, but much more hesitant when Camilla came in the picture. Charles adored Camilla from the jump because she always treated him as an equal rather than as someone she idolized. But regardless, the royal family was not interested in having Camilla as a princess. For one thing, she was perceived as an experienced woman, which at the time was unacceptable for the royal family. She wasn't perceived as aristocratic enough to be a princess. On the other hand, Diana was adored by the royal family. The Queen thought Diana to be quite suitable for Charles. She worked very, very hard to ingratiate herself and to model what she thought being a princess would entail, and she did it very successfully. Of course, these opinions spilled into the minds of everyone and didn't help with Camilla's attempts of winning the family over. On to number 4, the Netflix series The Crown shared stories about the pain Diana dealt with, which naturally brought a lot of backlash for Camilla. At one point, every photo on the monarch's Instagram was flooded with comments saying Diana forever and anything else implying that Diana will not be forgotten. The Crown has depicted Camilla as the other woman in the love triangle, which has not helped her image either. Bringing up the old drama annoyed people all over again. Another reason why the public is not too crazy about Camilla, in a television poll at the time, 2/3 said Charles should not be allowed to become king if he married Camilla. He had been having an affair with her since the mid-1980s. Some people were so upset about the tragedy that they wanted Camilla to leave the country, saying that without the mistress, none of this would have happened. People of the public seem to have pointed their fingers right at Camilla after the tragic loss of Diana, labeling her the mistress who caused this. That's pretty harsh and unfair to blame anyone without evidence, but it seems the Queen Consort has come a long way from these accusations. We can't talk about the treatment Camilla has endured all these years without bringing up King Charles. Much has been and continues to be written about the downfall of the marriage of Prince Charles and the late Princess Diana. But few moments remain as infamous as a phone call Prince Charles made to his then mistress in December of 1989, during which they jokingly fantasized about Charles being reincarnated as one of Camilla's tampons. My luck to be chucked down a lavatory and go on and on forever, swirling round on the top, never going down, until the next one comes through, Charles says at one point in the secretly recorded conversation that was later leaked to the press in 1993. "Oh, perhaps you could just come back as a box," Camilla replies. "A box of Tampax so you could just keep going." Ew, like what did I just read right now? Last but not least, regardless of the premarital affairs King Charles and Camilla were both involved in, there have been times where Camilla's behavior was off-putting, leaving fans and supporters of the royals upset. During a native ritual of throat singing, Camilla and Charles were caught acting disrespectful by not being able to contain their laughter during the performance. The worst part is they were sharing the stage with the performers too, so there was no way to hide their laughter. Whatever it was that was making them laugh that hard ultimately fueled more hate for the Queen Consort. As you can tell, these royals are kind of uneducated. Starting off with number 10, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may seem like a power couple considering they have stood strong despite the many issues they've had within the royal family. However, the royal family not feeling good about Harry's girl has to be a red flag. CEO of Exclusive Matching, Suzanne Trombetti, said, "When everyone in your family raises objections about the person you are with, you need to pay attention. These are red flags. When no one seems to like your partner, you should take this into account." Trombetti added that she thinks Prince Harry seems emotionally immature and therefore subject to being led. Although he may have wanted to leave the royal family for years, he only acted on it after meeting Meghan and feeling the need to protect his family. The matchmaker went on to say that Prince Harry may feel the need to save Meghan because he couldn't save his mother, Princess Diana. The negative feelings around the royal family just leaves them stuck in a maze. This seems to be the core dynamic and new basis for their relationship, the expert stated, adding that Prince Harry and Meghan are codependent. On to number 9, when Netflix released Harry and Meghan, Prince Harry and Meghan detailed the early days of the relationship, including their first date and their trip to Botswana, after only meeting twice. The former Suits star then described how the formality of the royal family was surprising, and that while they were originally impressed with her acting career, it later became a problem. Prince Harry and Meghan remained strong together after a miscarriage in 2020, which they blamed on the stress of constant bad press. When they attended Queen Elizabeth's funeral in September, Prince Harry made sure his wife was comfortable with lots of reassuring gestures. However, although it appears that nothing will come between the loving couple, an expert shared her thoughts on possible issues in Prince Harry and Meghan's relationship. On to number 8, despite the royal family's take, Prince Harry and Meghan have attested to their seemingly fairy tale romance. In a 2018 interview with BBC, the couple sat down to talk about the origins of their relationship. However, thoughts about Harry and Meghan's possibly codependent relationship have become a trending topic on Twitter, especially following the release of Harry and Meghan. One user tweeted in part, "They have the most unhealthy, codependent relationship I've ever seen." Another person wrote, "I suspect Harry has been literally transformed by what he believes in his intense love for Meghan," adding that he's completely codependent on her. Whatever happened to not believing everything you read online? So what will come of Harry and Meghan's future together? Even though we don't know the couple personally, do we think the relationship is based on codependency? Or is this just another case of people trying to determine their relationship with limited information? Number 7, how did the late Queen Elizabeth feel about his grandson's wife? Queen Liz once said that he was too in love with Meghan. In the royal biography Elizabeth: An Intimate Portrait, author Giles Brandreth wrote that Queen Elizabeth II was truly delighted when she was informed that Harry and Meghan were tying the knot. However, one excerpt noted that she was under the impression that Harry was perhaps a little over in love with Meghan. Brandreth wrote, "This was as far as she came, to my knowledge, at least, to ever uttering a word against the new Duchess of Sussex." Was Queen Elizabeth implying that the couple's intense love was actually a red flag? Prince Harry is known to be close with his grandmother, and he may have taken that into account when he was considering being with Meg. And it seems like a lot of his other family was not necessarily thrilled with his decision to tie the knot with her either, but again, who knows? Number 6, there have been a few things behind the scenes that have made us raise our eyebrows. Whether much of these dished details pertaining to the Duchess are true, fabricated, or sensationalized, there's no denying that these shady stories certainly get people talking. In 2017, for instance, the Daily Mail pushed the limits of its Markle story quota by conducting some manner of a genealogical investigation into the alleged shared ancestry of Harry and his wife. They discovered that the two are cousins dating back to the 15th century. The connection is said to be on Markle's father's side, but it's 15 generations back, so there's no need to worry about family dinners getting more awkward over the holidays. Not that it would have been the first time that someone in the royal family had married a suitor with the same genes, distant or otherwise, since this has happened quite a bit in the royal family tree. Still, there's plenty of digging to be done in the present concerning the shady side of the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. Counting down to number 5, we've heard a lot about Meghan Markle's hopes and dreams over the past few months, but what about Prince Harry? Do we even know the most basic details of his career aspirations? None of that matters because it's all about Meghan. After they left the royal family, the conversation has been dominated by Meghan's triumphant return to Hollywood. Only recently has the story begun to shift, not away from her, but toward her pivot into social justice activism. We've even seen Harry embarrassingly try to discredit his own family to further Meghan's social cause. Only until recently, when Harry's memoir dropped, did he start getting attention for what he's been telling. The tell-all memoir was something the royal family was very offended by, but it was Harry's way of expressing himself. On to number 4, well, we spoke about how the Queen did not really like Meghan, but that isn't even all. Harry's brother Prince William allegedly absolutely hates his brother Prince Harry's wife, Meghan, which was shared by a friend of his own wife, Kate Middleton. In an interview, an unnamed friend of the Princess of Wales shared how Prince William dislikes Meghan and blames her for his falling out with Prince Harry. The family blames Meghan for it all. Sounds like a huge disaster. The brothers were known to have an incredible bond, and when Meghan came along, everyone warned Prince Harry off her, but he wouldn't listen, and she just ripped him away. The bond is completely gone, and their docuseries is just the latest betrayal. William really hates both of them now, the friend further stated. It's really toxic and destructive for all of them. At the end of the day, they are a family, and their whole family allegedly has been ruined by Meghan alone. You can't imagine how bad it really is. The comments come just as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan released on December 8th of last year, making headlines with their comments about the royals. Clearly, the family is upset from whatever the couple has been spilling about them in the past interviews and now the docuseries. But it is interesting to think about how Harry never thought to expose the royal family this way until he got with Meghan. Is Meghan contributing in getting Harry to expose his family's drama? On the other hand, Harry is a grown man and is able to make decisions for himself. But it's important to note that his whole family shares the same sentiment about Meghan. But speaking of family, Meghan does not have the best family ties either. Her relationship with her father was a hot topic in the run-up to her wedding. Her husband-to-be inadvertently caused a stink when he said of the Windsors to BBC Radio 4, "It's the family that I suppose she's never had." Prince Harry's comment hurt the Markles, who hit back, "She's had a really good family." Half-brother Thomas Markle Jr. claimed, "We were as close as we could be." So the question is, why did Harry say that? On to number 3, apparently Meghan always wanted one thing in life, and that's to become a member of the British royal family. Now, she's never actually confirmed that, but her friends say that she's always had a fascination with the royals. According to some sources, this was all a part of Meghan's plan. She's wanted to be a princess since she was a teenager. But then again, what girl doesn't? Her old pal once said she was always fascinated by the royal family. She wants to be Princess Diana 2.0. She will play her role ably, but my advice to him is to tread cautiously. I'm not shocked at all, it's like she has been planning this all her life. She gets exactly what she wants, and Harry has fallen for her play. Talk about an awful friend for outing Meghan like that, right? Prince Harry has been called an unintelligent man who has been brainwashed by his wife Meghan into a rift with the royal family, according to a royal author. Talking to SiriusXM recently, royal expert Tom Bower made the sensational comments against the Duke and Duchess of Sussex ahead of the release of Prince Harry's bombshell memoir and the couple's Netflix docuseries. He thinks he has been badly treated, but there is no doubt they are a great threat to the royal family, Bower continued. Harry is a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man, ouch, who is seeking a role and really has nobody on whom he could rely, which in the end is where Meghan stepped in. A needy man met a woman who helped him with his needs. The author also claimed that Prince Harry and Meghan were left angry as ever after allegedly being snubbed by the royals at Queen Elizabeth's funeral in September last year. And finally, number 1, experts warn Prince Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs are being peddled by Meghan Markle. Royal author Tom Bower made this claim while speaking to American journalist Megyn Kelly. He started by branding the American very clever and added, "Don't think for a moment that she's not convincing quite a lot of people, especially in America, Africa, and the Caribbean and elsewhere, that somehow she was thrown to the wolves." Of course, that's completely untrue. During the course of this interview, Mr. Bower also questioned the they in Meghan Markle's claims about being fed to the wolves and asked who is they, who actually threw them to the wolves, who actually was not prepared to tell the truth on their behalf. At this point in the chat, Miss Kelly chimed in and claimed that she thinks they already telegraphed they is the royal family. In the first 3 episodes, Harry comes out and says there's the leaking of stories, meaning by the palace, and also the planting of stories. And he is absolutely getting ready to say in these next 3 episodes that the palace and its staffers, courtiers, whatever, were planning negative stories on him and her. That's what I think Meghan means clearly by "they threw me to the wolves."